Are you allowing yourself to stagnate and die? Now, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting different results. So, a study was done with bees where they found that they do this waggle dance to tell each other where the pollen and everything is. However, they found that 20% of the bees didn't listen to that information and just went off in random directions. And further studies showed that they did this, or their hypothesis of why they did this was because the bees didn't want to stagnate and die and trap themselves in a local area with one type of pollen. And then they did a further study to find that the reason, like 1 in 100 people, it's best if you have 2 or 3 that are classed as neurodivergent. In other words, they see the world very differently to everybody else. That's how they think that's just a nature thing and how we survive as species. So how do we apply that to our own lives? Well, if we're always trying to follow one career and nothing's working, and we keep doing the same thing, sort of doubling down, trebling down, etc., and it's still not working, we're not being that 20% in our own life. And if we're not capable of that, because one thing I've learned over the years is that I do see the world very differently to everybody else. It took years to figure this out. Like, it actually took a friend to say to me one day, going, maybe it's only you that can see things that way. And the penny dropped, and I was like, that makes total sense, because I was just getting frustrated why people couldn't see this easy fix or an easy way to do things, or the most obvious way that made sense to me but to no one else. And because no one else could see it that way, it was also very challenging to get bosses, and when I worked for other people before I worked for myself, to get bosses to see a different way of doing it that would benefit the company every time without fail. And I now apply this to my coaching, because I help people who have been stuck for years, decades even, and they just cannot figure out that why things aren't changing, why they can't heal that emotion, or why they can't get that promotion, or why they can't get that relationship. And I'm able to see that 20%, for argument's sake, that helps you become unstuck. And sometimes, because of the way our brains work, we can't see it for ourselves, so we do need to reach out. Now, the challenge there is men don't like asking for help. We're not great at it. It's a weakness of ours. But there's probably 20% of men on the planet that do ask for help. I don't know, that's just pure guess. It's not based on any science or anything. But if you look at successful people, that's one thing they do. They accept that they're not great at everything. So I work for myself. My skill set is mentoring and coaching and helping people become unstuck and letting go of emotions, not just dealing with them or learning to deal with them or learning to manage them, actually moving beyond them so they become not a thing anymore. But, my expertise isn't marketing or anything like that, so I ask for help and I get help that way. And what I'm saying here is, where in your life should you be asking for help that you're not doing that? Now, again, if you're getting challenges in relationships, or you're getting challenges as a parent, all of those things that are considered coaching abilities, it just means you can't coach yourself, and that's perfectly fine. You might be a plumber, so your expertise might be in fixing pipes and knowing how to create a system where the house doesn't flood. You might be an electrician, whatever your profession is, that might be your skill set. Just like everything in life, our skill set, not everybody's skill set is coaching or mentoring. We're born with a skill set, and we tend to, one way or another, end up in a work or a career somewhere along the line that shows us that's where we fit. I've been a coach and mentor my whole life, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was always that friend that everybody came to because they trusted my advice. And I still get people do that today. So if you're struggling and you're lost and you're confused, the cliche, are you lost, struggling and confused? So many people seem to be that way this day because we're at a stage in life where we're all realising and being called to go to our expertise, whatever that may be. And many people need help figuring that out, because if your skill set isn't to figure that out, you're going to be in the definition of insanity and doing the same thing over and over again, and you're going to trap yourself in that little field of one type of pollen and never achieve what you feel you're down here to achieve. So if you want to achieve what you're down here to achieve, reach out to me at www.waggle.org. Should be across the bottom of the screen. Links in the comments, or depending on which social media platform you're on, there's a link there to come and find me. Reach out, let's see how we can help you become unstuck, find your diversity so that you can reach and get on the path that you're meant to be on. Take care, see you again really soon.